begin here, I'd just like to ask you to disregard the mess. I haven't slept in my bedroom in something like 8 months, and it currently looks, get ready for this, like this. Like I just moved in. The reason it looks like this is because I'm throwing everything away, cleaning everything up, hence the bags and the piles and the empty bed because I've been sleeping on, that's a sock, by the way, that mysterious white thing. I've been sleeping on the futon. But one of the things I've been doing is unpacking these boxes of books that I recently received. And these are all books that belonged to me when I was in high school. And there was a time when I didn't live with my parents. They say I left, I say I was kicked out, but either way I went to live with a friend, and she and I no longer speak, so this stuff has been sitting in her attic since I graduated nearly 5 years ago. And in such, it's kind of become a time capsule. So, first of all, we have the literary magazine. I am featured in here. This was from when I was in grade 12, so I would have been 18, and it's very crumpled, as you can see. I'm not entirely sure where my story is. Oh, this is it right here. Cover my name. Election 49, and I might do a dramatic reading of this one day. This is actually a true story that my grandfather told me. As you can see, it's quite long. About something that happened to him when he was in college, and it's very funny and very interesting. But yeah, so that was a wonderful thing to have back after all these years. Then there's my old Empire Theatres employee handbook. I started working here on my half birthday. I was 17 and a half, and it was the last day of school in grade 11. And I worked there until I was just about 20. And it was my first job, and it was lots of fun, but it was also really difficult because we were dealing with thousands and thousands of people every weekend. And this, I read through this and I got such a kick out of it. Okay, I'm going to settle myself on the floor here. If you hear some strange background noises, that's my cat, or one of them anyway. Actually, yeah, he's hanging out up on my shelf, sniffing around since I keep this room locked. Oh, this is my, and I'm using the term very loosely, artwork. I got at the walls with some paint one day. That square in the middle is where my mirror used to hang until I moved into the living room with me. So, this is a copy of The Chrysalids. This is a novel that you often read in high school. No class I had read it, so I went out and bought it myself and decided to read it, and I've read it several times since. And this is one of the old copies you would see in school. There's different names in here, so I believe it was actually used by a school. Copyright, most recent copyright is 1985. But since 1958, I guess, no, 55, when it was first published. So this copy is, my math skills are failing me, 26 years old. Okay, this is something that is read to many children in Canada, Underground to Canada, which is about the Underground Railway and freeing the slaves and such. And this was read to me in elementary school, but I had to purchase it for myself when I was older because my favorite books are those that I read as a child. I'm not entirely sure how I got this. I read this in grade 12. We were allowed to choose our own groups, and my English class in grade 12 was very unique. I took advanced English all the time, every year in high school, and I loved it, and I excelled at it. It was my best class. And in grade 12, there was only, I can't remember, I think there was 15 people in our class, and it was all girls. So our teacher called us her girls, and she was very loose with our projects. She let us choose the books we wanted to read, what sorts of projects we wanted to do, and when we had completed Hamlet, which is, wait, was it Hamlet or Macbeth? No, it was Hamlet. No, it was Macbeth, which was required by the curriculum. We had finished it in record time, So she allowed us to do Hamlet for fun, and we got to read it in front of class and acted it with costumes and such, and it was great. I loved that class. But one of the independent projects, this is the book my friends and I had chosen to read. I don't remember purchasing it though, and I know this isn't a school copy. So I'm perplexed as to where this came from. Barometer Rising by Hugh McLennan is another book that's often read in school. This copy, although it looks like, I bet the copyright's fairly old. Most recent copyright, it doesn't even say. Oh, this edition, 1969. Alright, so this book is 42 years old, but in mint condition. I think I may have bought it during a library sale for like a very good price. Margaret Lawrence, Suggestive God. I actually can't stand Margaret Lawrence. I took a Canadian literature class in grade 12. I should note that due to financial reasons, I never went to university, but I am like the nerd, and really should have, because I took ridiculous elective classes like Canadian literature. But the thing about Canadian literature is two of the most well-known authors are two Margarets, Margaret Lawrence and the more famous Margaret Atwood. I haven't read this, and I don't know how I came into it, but I might give it a try someday. Oh no. Okay. This book, I feel it may have actually been supplied to me in grade 10. The thing about advanced English was, it's really falling apart, was that you had to do an assignment over the summer, and going into grade 10, we're given the assignment to read Alistair MacLean's The Guns of Navarone. This book was painful, and it's very tattered, so I can tell that I wasn't the first person who had to read this. It makes me really sad when I see a book in disrepair like this. But when we got to class that first day, our teacher, who I'll call Larry, that was his first name, and he wound up being my Canadian literature teacher 2 years later, said, "Oh, well, how did you all enjoy the book?" And there was this very awkward silence over my class, and then he said, "It's okay, I hated it too, we're not even going to do a test on it," and that was a huge relief.